This is the BBT, and we're speaking with Richard Matturro, who's teaching a course with the OLLI program, and the course is Shakespeare's history plays. So, Richard, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. So, tell me a little bit about this, the choice of the course, and what is it? Because there's so much to focus on with Shakespeare, right?
Sure.
But you're focusing on a particular area.
Yes. Well, that's partly because this is the first of a series of 4 Shakespeare courses, which will be given in consecutive spring semesters. And we're starting with the histories. Next year will be the comedies, then the tragedies, and we'll finish off with the, well, for lack of a better term, the late plays, because they don't generally fit in the other 3 categories. And in general, these are actually chronological. Shakespeare started writing histories, and most of the histories are from his early period. So doing them in this order is pretty much the order in which he wrote them.
So does that tell a little bit about the evolution of Shakespeare as well?
Yes.
That he was writing a certain type of play, and then he evolved?
Yes, the history play was a popular form, and then he made it even more popular. So much so that they would sometimes attach his name to plays that weren't even his because they would sell better that way. And I know that sometimes people are turned off by even the term history, thinking that perhaps it will be dry. But you have to remember that Shakespeare was first and foremost a showman. He wrote for the theater, and the theater was only there to please people. If people didn't have a good time, they don't come back, and they always came back to his. So the history plays are really, in their own way, just wonderful, and many people don't realize that among the history plays are his greatest comic character of all, Sir John Falstaff, who some have said is second only to Hamlet as his greatest character ever. He's in the history plays.
And that's interesting because you mentioned that, and of course they're perhaps more of the novice Shakespeare people don't even know that name because they know the Macbeth and so forth. But he, from popularity, that name isn't the first one you think of as Shakespeare.
Yeah, so he's the big fat knight. I bet you have even seen pictures of him, generally bald with a beard. Anyway, wonderful character. It's also in the histories that we find his most devilish villain, Richard III, and him I'm sure you've heard of.
Yes.
And even a rather tragic figure in Richard II. One of the most enigmatic of the English kings. So we find in the history plays comedy, tragedy, and really just everything else, what you would expect to find in a Shakespeare play.
And we'll speak more about the course, Shakespeare's history plays, with Richard Matturro, the instructor for the Berkshire OLLI program, teaching this course. We'll continue the conversation after this.